good to have you with us in this edition of the Weekend Urban Debate. Tonight, we put the spotlight on another big decision taken by the central government in a bid to reach out to the farmers, the agitating and protesting farmers. Now, remember, just a few days ago, Prime Minister Modi had announced the decision, the mega decision, to withdraw the 3 contentious farm laws. But for the farmers, there are a series of other demands. The biggest one, of course, is a legal assurance on MSP. Now, while that hasn't come yet, and there the government has said that they are going to set up a committee which will also have representatives of the farmer organizations to look at all issues from crop diversification to MSP. Today, the government announced, and the Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar announced, that they will be decriminalizing stubble burning. Farmers across North Indian states resort to burning the stubble because of lack of options and affordable options in terms of getting rid of it. This leads to a large amount of pollution, which every winter becomes one of the big causes for people to choke in North India. Big cause for pollution. That is why the government had brought in a law which made this a crime. And year after year, there has been pressure on the state governments to take penal action against the farmers who continue to burn stubble. But now, Narendra Singh Tomar, in an official statement, said that they have decided to decriminalize it such that there is no criminal penal action against the farmers who do this. That being said, viewers, the problem of stubble burning remains. The problem of taking care of the stubble, dumping it, reusing it, alternate methods that will be needed, that problem still exists. And in the absence of a comprehensive solution of that, decriminalizing the act itself will lead to unabated stubble burning, which obviously is not good for the environment. So the governments need to also be able to fast track all of those solutions as they look to appease the farmers with this one specific step. The farmers aren't fully convinced of the government's announcements. They want it in written. They want actual action. They want the farm laws repealed in the parliament. To see that, they want written assurances on everything else. So tonight, let's talk about 2 things. One, what should the farmers do next? Are these 2 big announcements by the government enough for them to call off their protests? And 2, and more importantly, are the governments, the state governments in the center, really ready and capable of curbing stubble burning, which is a big health hazard as well? I say good evening to Gurdeep Singh Suppal, National Spokesperson for the Congress Party, Raman Malik of the BJP, Adit Chaudhary, farmer activist and media in charge for Rashtriya Kisan Mazdoor Sangathan. Let me first go across to Adit Chaudhary for a response. Adit Chaudhary, ये एक बहुत बड़ा इशू था और हर साल हम देख रहे हैं हरियाणा में, पंजाब में 500,000 cases filed against the farmers for stubble burning. तो आपका और आपके संगठन का क्या रिस्पॉन्स है जो सरकार ने आज कहा?
इसके लिए सरकार पहले भी कह चुकी थी और आज सेम पुरानी चीज को रिपीट किया गया, कुछ नया इसमें नहीं है। किसान की अभी जो करंट सिचुएशन में मांग है वो एमएसपी को लेकर है, और जो ये पहले भी मिनिस्ट्री के द्वारा इस पर कहा गया था, वो पुरानी चीज को नए पैकेट में पेश किया गया है।
आप कह रहे हैं कि आपको भरोसा नहीं कि इसको डिक्रिमिनलाइज करेंगे, क्योंकि ये सरकार कह रही है और उन्होंने फार्म लॉज को विड्रॉ करने के लिए तो ऑलरेडी कैबिनेट ने अप्रूव कर दिया है, वो बिल शायद मंडे को पार्लियामेंट में आ भी जाए।
बात भरोसे वाली नहीं है। जब प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बिल्स के लिए कहा है, हमें पूरा यकीन है जब प्रधानमंत्री जी अपने मुंह से कोई बात कह रहे हैं तो वो दम रखती है। और आज भी जो मंत्री जी ने कहा उस पर हमें कोई शक नहीं है, संदेह नहीं है कि नहीं होगा, लेकिन ये पुरानी चीज को रिपीट किया जा रहा है। आज मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट डिमांड इज ऑफ एमएसपी। आज से कहीं ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण जो विषय है वो एमएसपी का है। सरकार को उस पर गंभीर होने की जरूरत है। हम पहले से डिमांड करते हैं कि हमें एमएसपी की गारंटी चाहिए। तो स्टबल बर्निंग इजंट अ बिग, मतलब अगर सरकार इस कर भी रही है तो कोई बड़ा विषय नहीं है।
रमन मलिक, ये आपने अनाउंस तो कर दिया, पर ये कोई बहुत बड़ा विषय नहीं है। अभी भी दे वांट मोर क्लैरिटी। व्हाट इज द वे फॉरवर्ड ऑन एमएसपी? वो उसका क्या होगा?
Is the debate about the farm bills and farm these issues, or is it about the pollution that we are talking about? That is number one. Number two is जिन लोगों को गोल पोस्ट पीठ पे उठा के राहुल गांधी बनने की आदत बन चुकी है इस देश में। ये एक बहुत पुरानी, एक बहुत नई सी बीमारी आ गई है, that you show your mental intellectual levels every now and then. So that, I believe, is something which is to be assessed by the nation. But let's talk primarily on the issue that I was told about, and that was the issue of pollution in Delhi. And if that is not the case, please let me know what we are debating.
Yes, there are two aspects to this story, Mr. Raman Malik. As I said in the introduction to the debate, one aspect is the decision that has been taken by the government and what it means. The second aspect is, in absence of tough punishment for stubble burning, how does the government intend to curb this issue?
Okay. The first and foremost thing is that when it comes to stubble burning and decriminalization of it, one needs to understand that of late a report was submitted in the Honorable Supreme Court which gave various ingredients or participants into the possibility and the spread of pollution in the national capital region. Your channel also had a debate on it, if I remember it correctly. Now, having said that, those figures and data were there, and the Honorable Court had taken into consideration all those things. Now comes the second most important factor. When we talk about stubble burning, then yes, the data was given, the numbers were given. Then comes the major factor which we were wanting to debate is what happens, how does it get managed? Well, obviously, it would never get managed by taking a 40,000 rupees uh, some compose and putting about uh, 25 to 28 lakh rupees on this distribution and spreading 7 to 8 crore rupees on the advertisement. No, it would not solve it. What would solve it is uh, that the way we are doing it in Haryana, we've started giving the incentive for the stubble to be collected, the bundles to be made. We have started leasing out the equipment in various districts. We are moving very effectively towards it. But at the same time, I would also like to understand from our friends from Congress or other people who may be here, what are the other places doing? This has to be understood that these are very pertinent issues of discussion and debate. They can't be trivialized. And you must come out and tell us that what is Delhi doing about it, what is Punjab doing about it, because Haryana becomes a sandwich in between. And we are the ones who are facing the brunt because Delhi also, when the pollution in Yamuna happens, the water level, the pollutant level in Yamuna from the Sonipat side to the Faridabad side are totally, different.
Okay, one by one. Let's get Gurdeep Singh Sapul to come in on this story. Big decision, Gurdeep. One of the demands that the farmers had that has now been accepted, especially a big issue in the state of Punjab that goes to elections. But the challenge still remains. And can the governments then really fast-track solutions to stubble burning?
I'll begin with what Mr. Raman Malik said. He mentioned Rahul Gandhi in his response, though in a negative context. But let me put it on record that actually farmers have understood Mr. Modi like Mr. Rahul Gandhi has understood. Let us go back 1 year back. Supreme Court raised this issue and asked Modi government what is it doing about the pollution and stubble burning, and said it will form a committee under Justice Lokur. So center rushed to Supreme Court, no, you don't form a committee, we'll form a commission. And they came up with an ordinance. And you know how much fine they put on farmers proposed? It was 1 crore rupees fine for burning stubble and up to 5 years of imprisonment. Can you imagine this response by government of India against a thing like which is a serious thing? I agree, but sending farmers to jail for 5 years and imposing 1 crore rupee, they think the farmers were that rich. Finally, after a year, in this August, they realized their folly. The government realized under the pressure of Kisan movement. And when they brought a bill in August, they removed this clause for farmers. They did remove. But as this government is always not willing to walk the full distance, they left one clause in it and said that government can impose compensation on the farmers, environmental compensation. Now, if you are willing to let go of the farmers, then why did you retain this clause? Who will explain it from government? Now, today, they have walked another step under the pressure of the farmers who did not fully uh, believe in Prime Minister's words. They continued with their agitation, and today some more steps have been taken by the government. Why couldn't the government of India take this step 10 days, 5 days back when Mr. Modi made those announcements 10 days back? It did not. It is under the constant pressure of farmers that it is coming one by one, and even today, its intent is questionable because it's a transparent mechanism for MSP, while the farmers are asking for a legal arrangement for MSP. Even today, it is trying to mislead the farmers. Now, coming to the pollution aspect, Tanvi. It is true, Haryana has allocated some 200 crore rupees. I accept it. It is true. But I think Mr. Raman Malik would do good to go through the minutes of the commission, which has been created by central government. And the meeting of the commission was chaired by none else as Union Minister Bhupendra Yadav. And the commission concluded that in Haryana, biodecomposition has been used in 1 lakh acres, in Delhi 4,000 acres, and in Punjab 5 lakh acres during the same period. So Punjab is way ahead. It is a bigger state, true, but it is way ahead. And even when Haryana has allocated 200 crore rupees, in the same meeting, it was confirmed that in Punjab, some private companies have been engaged to reach out to 5 lakh another acre and work for stubble burning, the solution for stubble burning. So it is not a question of my state or your state. It is people of India who are suffering. And I think Mr. Raman Malik will do good to go by his own government's record and see what Punjab is doing and what Haryana is doing. But having said that, the problem with this government is that whenever there's a problem, they only know one answer, ki lathi chala do. This is what they try to do in stubble burning. And this year, when Supreme Court again raised the issue, they came up with affidavit saying that stubble burning only contributes to 10%. So
no, but Mr. Suppal, that being said, you know, on the aspect of Punjab, you are admitting that Haryana has allocated a lot more funds and taken steps.
No,
just to say you brought in a few private players to help with alternatives to stubble is not going to be enough. Look at the amount of stubble burning that took place this year. And obviously, the government has decided to not take any action against the farmers. Zero FIRs were filed this year as well. Now, so what is the Punjab government going to do to solve the problem? It is killing people in North India.
I think you did not hear me properly. Haryana worked on 1 lakh acre. Punjab in the same time period worked on 5 lakh acre. It is not that Haryana has done more than Punjab. You are quoting me wrongly. Punjab has worked on area which is 5 times what Haryana has done. And Punjab government rightfully so decided not to file cases against the farmers, which is what government of India today has promised, to decriminalize the action by the farmers. The issue is not to criminalize the farmers.
You are referring to just the awareness campaign and other particular issues such as the decomposed and other things that you are talking about. You are not talking about the factual work on ground where the number and the quantum of the parali has been picked up, has been taken for making ethanol or for energy production. So you're just trying to divert the topic.
I'm not trying to divert, Mr. Malik.
No, just listen. Now you listen. I was patiently listening to you, Mr. Suppal. First of all, when you talk about MSP, though I did not want to talk about it today in this program because the matter was totally different. But let me tell you about MSP. Punjab has only 2 or maximum 3 crops that they pay MSP for. We in Haryana pay it for 11 crops. First, you go and do that much work, then you start comparing. The states do not pick up. Your especially states like Rajasthan, Punjab, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, they do not do anything for the farmers. Now, let's come up to the stubble burning issue. The stubble burning issue, various photographs shown by the NASA and released every now and then around Diwali and posted, always showed the concentration happening in Punjab. And why I'm referring to NASA is because that is a third party. You cannot say it is a government agency and it is not showing Punjab. It is
So,
not showing
let
Haryana
me
and all
just
that.
put things in perspective, Mr. Raman Malik, since you've raised this issue, and that's what we are debating over between Haryana and Punjab. Data, 1 minute, please, since you have said this, I don't want to go basis satellite pictures only. Let's put things in perspective with actual data. Data from the Indian Agriculture Research Institute between September 15 and November 13. If you see in the state of Haryana, the number of stubble burning incidents went up between 2020 and 2021. The incidents in Haryana that were registered in 2020 were about 3,635. They went up to 5,400 incidents in this current year, showing an increase of 48%. In every other state, there has been a decrease in incidents of stubble burning. But I must also highlight and add to what you said. In Punjab, 79,000 incidents and over that were reported last year, and now 62,863 incidents of stubble burning. That's the difference, Gurdeep Sappal, which is why Punjab needs to do a lot more than what Haryana is doing, because the extent of stubble burning is many, many times more than what happens in Haryana.
I think you should also quote one more study which has concluded recently, 3-4 days back, that the winds from Punjab have not reached Delhi. So let it be a localized context. Yes, it's a serious matter. Yes, pollution has to be stopped. Yes, but let me react to Mr. Malik. Mr. Malik, Haryana procures 11 crops under Punjab does 3. You said Rajasthan did not procure. Whose responsibility is to procure? In Rajasthan, farmers were protesting and demanding the Chief Minister of Rajasthan to write to Modi ji that procurement should be done in Rajasthan. Why? Because it is a union government which does it.
Of what?
Ab bataiye na. You have raised the issue. I'm telling you, didn't this happen?
No. Procurement of what, sir? In another debate also you were referring to this. Let me break a myth. Since you have raised it, let me break a myth.
I did not intervene.
Sir, no. Let me break a myth. What is the main crop of Rajasthan? What is the main crop of Rajasthan? Bajra. Bajra is around 1 crore acres. What you are saying to Bajra?
Okay, 1 minute, please. I am not able to understand what either of the two are saying. Raman Malik, I will give you due time to respond on the Rajasthan crop issue. I will let Gurdeep Sappal finish the point that he is making.
BJP very smartly forgets. He said Maharashtra. Who was ruling Maharashtra? Why did you take that action? You are always in a questioning mood, not in a solution giving mood. So please, let us be very clear. Farmers today are demanding legal guarantee for MSP. And even today, the agricultural minister did not use that word, tried to mislead the people of India by giving an impression that government is ready and conceding to farmers' demand by saying that we are for transparent mechanism for MSP. Transparent mechanism for MSP and a legal mechanism for MSP. Are these two similar? Are they same? Please respond to this. Let's not go into other questions today. Let us go into this. And B, please abide by your own government, Union Minister, Mr. Bhupen Yadav, that Punjab has done equally good on this front.
Okay. Gurdeep Sappal, allow... 1 minute, calm down, please. Gurdeep Sappal will now allow Raman Malik to respond to this. Yes.
I'll keep quiet.
Now, the basic issue is the main crop in Rajasthan happens to be Bajra. What is the average rate? 900 rupees to 1100 rupees in Rajasthan. How much area? 1 crore acres or near about. What is the differential between, let's say, Haryana and Rajasthan and Punjab? About 1,000 rupees plus. Now, if I just look at it and the entire calculation, it will come to about 10,000 crore rupees less what the farmers of Rajasthan are getting. What is your government doing? Nothing, zilch. Now let's talk about other facts. The basic issue when you raise of MSP and the other things, you guys are basically procuring only those crops which the center is further buying from you, like Punjab and other places. But in Haryana, what we are doing is not just the central procurement, but we are also procuring other crops on MSP ourselves and selling it in the market, even if we have to take a loss.
Okay.
And that is how we are taking care of it. And then we have a Bhavantar Bharpai Yojana, which makes sure that the prescribed value of the vegetables and other things, there are certain lists. We also try and give that. Now, the basic issue comes in that what have we done to reduce the stubble burning?
Yeah.
The stubble burning reduction, how have we worked? I'll tell you. We have started making pool of machineries which are available to the farmer on rentals.
Yeah.
Now, my point is, what is your investment as a government in Punjab?
But Mr. Raman Malik, I have already settled that debate. Irrespective of the steps you've taken, the incidents have risen in Haryana. And even though the incidents have fallen in Punjab, they are far lot more than what is happening. 1 minute, please. Allow me to go to Adit Chaudhary. Allow me to go to Adit Chaudhary.
Tanvi, don't be a mama to Congress. Don't try and protect the weak child.
I don't need to lectures from you on how to conduct these debates. I'm going to go across to Adit Chaudhary. Allow me to go across to the farmer activist also who is with me. Adit Chaudhary, जो आपने बात उठाई, अब सारा मुद्दा हो गया है MSP को लेकर. लेकिन उस दिन प्रधानमंत्री ने भी 19 तारीख को ये बोला और आज नरेंद्र सिंह तोमर जी ने भी यही कहा कि उसके लिए कमेटी बिठाई जाएगी और MSP पे बातचीत होगी. तो अब किसान उसके लिए बॉर्डर पे प्रोटेस्ट करके ही रुकेंगे या घर जाके इंतजार कर सकते?
देखिए, एमएसपी का जो विषय है वो हम लोगों ने जब हम लोग बुराड़ी गए नवंबर में, उसके बाद दिसंबर को हमने बुराड़ी छोड़ा, तब भी इस बात का अनाउंसमेंट किया था हमें एमएसपी की लीगल गारंटी चाहिए. लेकिन तब तक जो बॉर्डर्स पर फार्मर्स थे उनका एक ही कहना था, बिल वापसी नहीं तो घर वापसी नहीं. ठीक है, देर से उनको समझ आया, लेकिन अब ये जो बिल वापसी के बाद अब एमएसपी की लीगल गारंटी की उन्होंने डिमांड की है, इसके बाद धीरे धीरे उन्हें ये भी समझ आएगा वापसी कब जाना है, ये उनका विषय है. हम लोगों की डिमांड एमएसपी की लीगल गारंटी की. और दूसरी बात है, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा कमेटी के लिए, कमेटी की इसमें कोई जरूरत नहीं है. मोदी जी जिस तरीके से 3 कानून लाए थे, इसलिए गारंटी का भी एक नया ऑर्डिनेंस लाए, उसका कानून बनाने की प्रक्रिया शुरू करें. सत्र सामने 29 तारीख से.
कोई और किसान संगठन पर कल को कोई और किसान संगठन खड़े होकर कहा आपने हमसे बातचीत तो की नहीं, इस तरीके से नहीं चाहिए था एमएसपी का लॉ, इसमें तो हमें फायदा ही नहीं होगा, तो क्या? तो वो बातचीत तो जरूरी है ना, किस तरीके से करना है, कि सारी क्रॉप्स के लिए करना है, कौन उसकी गारंटी लेगा, क्या उसकी भरपाई सरकार करेगी या जो भी खरीदार है उसको वो लॉ पे करना है, ये सब बातचीत तो जरूरी है ना आदित्य?
फार्मर्स की तरफ से प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल ऑलरेडी पेश हो चुका है संसद के अंदर. लास्ट लोकसभा सेशन में लास्ट लोकसभा में राजू शेट्टी जी की तरफ से वो रखा गया था. और जो हमारी डेलीगेशन लास्ट टाइम राजनाथ सिंह जी से और नरेंद्र तोमर जी से मिला, तो उन्हें सेम चीज हैंड ओवर भी की गई थी. तो इसमें मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई जरूरत है. और जो स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं उन्होंने अपना ओपिनियन पहले ही सरकार तक पहुंचा दिया है, किस तरीके के बिल का प्रारूप बिल चाहिए.
Okay, there obviously are different groups of farmers. The Sanyukt Kisan Morcha says we want to hold talks with the government, but we want it in written and we want to talk about MSP. Of course, the Rashtriya Kisan Mazdoor Sangathan has always been insistent on that, which is why they also moved away from the Sanyukt Kisan Morcha last year itself. But the core issue remains MSP. Stubble burning, decriminalize. Many are asking tonight, what about the pollution? What about the fact that thousands and lakhs of people are breathing this polluted air? The governments can't keep scrapping laws, keeping politics and vote bank in mind without actually finding solutions to the real issues. That too is needed, and the onus is on the state governments and the central government. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us on this conversation.